Good morning. Today is April 24th, 2012, and we are interviewing Rudy Escobar at the Illinois State Library. Rudy is, how old are you, Rudy?
84.
84 years old, having been born on.
November 30th, 1927.
All right, thank you. My name is Helen Connect, and I will be the interviewer. Mr. Escobar, could you state for the recording what war and branch of the service you served in?
United States Marine Corps, World War II.
Okay.
It's Escobar.
Escobar. Okay.
VAR.
All right, thank you. And what was your rank in the service?
Corporal.
Corporal.
At my highest rank.
The what?
My highest rank, corporal.
And where did you serve at?
I served in the Asiatic Pacific and China, Burma, India area of operations.
And what was your job or assignment over there?
When I was in the Asiatic Pacific, I was a machine gun carrier, or in a machine gun group. And when we got to China, Burma, India, I was in transportation, transporting prisoners of war, whether Japanese, send them back home.
Interesting. And can you tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences?
I always said the most memorable service when I got out with my discharge. But that's not, no. My most memorable was when we got liberty and went to the Great Wall of China and walked on it for a little while.
How far did you walk on?
Just about 50 yards. We were restricted to how far we could go because we were surrounded by the Chinese communists at the time, in 1947.
Oh, wow. Did you have any highlights there while you were at the wall? I mean, any unusual things happen?
No, just walking around like tourists.
Okay.
It's a beautiful place.
I heard that it is, yeah. All right. How did you stay in touch with your family while you were in?
By mail. And back then, it's not as easy as it is now because they got computers and they got iPhones and like that. But back then, you write a letter, it'd take about 3 or 4 weeks before you got it.
Wow.
And we had an incident which was really to me, it was sad because the kid wrote a letter to his mom and dad telling them that he was on his way home. But they received the notice that he had been killed. And then after that, about a week later, they got the letter that he had written saying he was coming home. So that was the communication between veterans overseas and home was kind of slow.
Mm-hmm.
We did have it, but it was just kind of slow.
Were you able to call at all? Or?
No, unless we went to the Red Cross and you had to give them a pint of blood or something. But
that's interesting to know. Okay, what was the food like over there?
Not good. When we landed in China, we didn't have a cafeteria or mess hall, what we called it back then. So we were just eating out of K rations, the cans that they furnished. I think their meals are ready to eat or now, I think they're called. Mm-hmm. But back then it took about 2 weeks before we started getting some food, and it was potted eggs, powdered milk, Spam, cat rations.
So that was pretty much what the food was.
Until about 3 or 4 months later, the naval ships would get in close by, and then they would bring us some really good food.
Mm-hmm. Were you able to sample any of the local food there?
No, we didn't. You wouldn't. I wouldn't give it to the dogs because they were so poor. It was terrible because when we had got our regular food, like now, we would eat and have leftovers, put them in a garbage can. People would fight for it because they were so poor they were starving to death.
That's sad. Did you have plenty of supplies while you were there?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And while you were there, did you feel any pressure, or I'm sure you were under quite a bit of stress there, but
We were on condition red most of the time. Well, condition red is be prepared for anything. Get ready, be ready. But luckily that until I think it was April 1947, where I was stationed in Tianjin, China, which is about 80 miles south of Peking. It's Beijing now. And 20 miles further south than that, we had our ammunition dump. And one night, the Chinese communist was under Mao Zedong. They attacked that ammunition dump and killed 6 Marines, wounded 16. And I happened to be there. It wasn't fun.
while you were there, did you carry anything special for good luck?
No, yes, I did. I forgot it. I had a St. Christopher Catholic thing, the saints, they call it Christopher, protect our.
Yeah. And what did you and your fellow soldiers, how did you entertain yourself while you were stationed?
We had they built a club. We call it slop shoot, but it was like a beer tavern, and we had beer, dances, music. Some of the GIs had pretty talented, and they formed a little band, and every Saturday night we'd go out and have a little fun, drink beer, and after a while they in that town where I was at, they had Puerto Ricans, Spanish, Russians, and Italians, a variety of nations there. But they couldn't get out because they were surrounded by the Japs. And anyway, they brought in some Italian dancers, women. Everybody was going nuts over there. But we had fun. I mean, we could hear after it was all over. We just had the best we could. We had played baseball, softball.
How did you get the instruments there that they used in the band?
They carried them with them on board ship.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Did you have any entertainers that came to your units while you were?
Not when we were in China, no. We never did. Overseas, when I was in the South Pacific or Asia Pacific, I saw Bob Hope, but I was so far away from it, it was good. But we just heard his jokes and stuff.
Yeah,
And that was the only one.
he was quite the entertainer. And what did you do when you were on leave?
Just walked around and try to look for something interesting to do, and all this time, because I was 17 years old. I celebrated my 18th birthday in Tianjin, China, and we never took pictures. That's what I say. I was there, and they said, "Can you prove it?" No, but yeah, we had like I said, played baseball, and some of the guys who had built a football out of rags. But we were having fun, entertaining ourselves.
So are you a Cub fan or a Card fan?
None.
None.
I'm a Braves fan because in 1950, when I came back from overseas, I was about ready to get out of the military. I was in the baseball team in San Diego, California, and we was playing baseball. And at that time, Cleveland Indians had a farm team in the Pacific Coast League, and we played against them. So, you know, because we had a lot of military personnel that were professional baseball players, but they were in the service. And one year, Lou Boudreau, the manager of the Cleveland Indians, came to the Pacific Coast to watch some of the players that they were interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And we happened to be playing an exhibition game against those guys. And when it was all over, two other guys and myself were signed by the Cleveland Indians.
Is that right?
And I played 2 years in the minor leagues for them, and then, 1953. Yeah, 1953 to 1956, I was in the Milwaukee Braves, where they were Milwaukee
Mm-hmm.
organization for 3 years. I went to spring training with them, but they sent me back down to the minors.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
So, but my wife's family, you won't believe this. My wife's family, half of them were Cubs and half of them are Cardinal fans, and I'm right in the middle.
Well, you're unique. You've had your own team there.
Yes.
Let's see. Where did you travel while you were in the service? What areas?
Where did I go?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we went to, when we come back, we had open gate liberty because we were permanent personnel in the base. And we go to Mexico, we went as far as Tacoma, Washington, because everybody wanted to go to see the Mount Rainier. And we took a lot of liberty out there. And we went to Las Vegas one time. I won $3.
That was pretty big stuff back then, too, wasn't it? Do you recall any particularly humorous or unusual events while you were in the service?
Not really. Everything was just basic fun,
Mm-hmm.
cutting up.
Any certain pranks or anything?
Oh, yes. One time, I shouldn't say this, but anyway, when we first landed in China, we were in the Quonset huts had bamboo mats sleep in because, you know, we were just going in without anything else. So the Marine Corps had an air wing with pilots and everything, but 15 miles away from us, and they had a lot of lumber. They were building their own, houses for the military personnel. They're all officers. So this one kid from New York and I and two others got in a truck. We went in the lumberyard where they had the airfield, and we was loading it with lumber to build our own little hut. And they caught us. So this military police from the Marine Corps Air Corps asked us what we were doing there. And this one kid was really sharp. He said, well, they gave us a lot of lumber and it's no good, so we're just bringing it back. So the MP lieutenant, he said, well, we don't want it either. Just take it back, get it out of here. 3 weeks later, we got before the court. They called us. They finally called us, but they didn't do anything to us. They let us have it because it was just such a prank that nobody would have believed it, that we got away with it. Yeah, but this kid was sharp. He got us out of it. He said, well, they tried to give us a bunch of dirty lumber and it wasn't good, so we don't want it. We don't come bringing it back. He said, we don't either. Take it back. We did. That was my only prank that I know I can.
Uh-huh. That was a good one, though.
Yes.
Well, you said earlier that you did not take any pictures while you were over there.
No.
Did any of your buddies take pictures?
Yeah, they did.
Share with you?
Yeah. But my first wife, we had a big row, and she got rid of everything. I had a souvenir Japanese sniper's rifle, and that would have been very valuable at this time today. But she got rid of it. She gave it away, tore my uniforms out. And it was a mess. So no, I don't have any. I got one picture that I finally salvaged, and one of my friends in Decatur made it into a big one on the computer.
Oh,
So it's pretty nice.
that's good. What did you think of your officers and fellow soldiers?
At the time, we were all blood brothers, you know, regardless of rank, because we were protecting each other's, you know, keep them from getting hurt. But it was like a bunch of brothers together, officers and men enlisted.
That's great. Did you keep a personal diary while you were there?
No.
No. How often did you write home?
Once a week. And like I said, you know, I could tell by the dates stamped on the letters that it was 3 weeks. When my mom or my brothers or sisters write, it takes 3 weeks to get our letters back then.
Were you the only one in your family stationed?
Oh no, my brother, older brother, that's the Mansour Hibachi, where they raised the flag, and that was his. He was there. He didn't raise this flag, but he was there when they raised this flag. And somebody here not long ago found this thing and gave it to me, and I'm wearing it in his honor, my older brother. And I got a younger brother next to me that was in the Marine Corps also. And our fourth brother, he broke the tradition and went in the Air Force.
Okay, do you recall the day that your service ended? And where were you at that time? And
I was in San Diego, California. It was March 30th, 1949 when I got out.
so you served how many years?
4.
4? Was that the standard?
No, it wasn't. It was, well, if you enlisted, you can enlist for 2 or 3 or 4. But if you were drafted, you would stay in for the duration of what they call it, I guess, duration of the war.
And after you were out of the service, what did you do on the days and the weeks afterward?
Play baseball.
Play baseball. That's right, you can say that. How many winning games did you have?
Oh, we had 50-50 maybe.
What position did you play?
Center field.
Center field. Okay. Did you have
I wasn't such a big household name, but it was an enjoyable and it was a really good experience.
That's when they had the women's baseball teams too while you were stationed over there. Wasn't that popular?
No, not, I don't know. I don't remember having softball even in the service.
All right. Did you have any desire to go back to school after you got out, or?
Yeah, I got my. I went back to school and got my. Well, there's something similar to a GED. So.
And see, the GI Bill.
I never used that. I was eligible for it, but I never used it in my life.
And did you make any close friendships while you were in the service?
Yes, very much so.
Do you still keep in touch with these?
They're dead, except one. One is still alive. He's in Corpus Christi, Texas. He same age as I am. We were stationed in the same place, actually, and the same compound, and we didn't know it. And we knew each other from high school or when going to school, and we didn't know it until we ran into each other at that place that I was telling you about, like a canteen or beer joint, whatever. We ran into each other then, and he's still alive. He's a pastor of some Baptist church in my home.
So you still communicate?
Oh yes, I go home every year for 2 or 3 weeks. Sometimes go 4 weeks. Because I'm originally from Corpus Christi, Texas.
Oh, okay.
But I've been in Decatur now 1964. Because they opened up a Firestone plant there and building tires, and I came with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so Firestone was down in Texas.
Well, the stores. They had stores.
Okay.
And through them, I found out that they were building. And I was divorced and single and no kids.
Mhm.
So I said, I'll try it. So I came down here, and I've been here ever since. And I met my wife here, but my intentions were work at Firestone and retire after whatever. And but I met my wife in Decatur, and we got married. And she was an only child. I couldn't, and her parents were older. I couldn't see her taking her away from them, so we just bought a property in Decatur, and I've been there ever since.
Wow. Do you belong to any veterans organizations now?
I'm a life member of the American Legion, a life member of the VFW, a life member of the DAV, a life member of the Marine Corps League, and a life member of the China Marine Association.
Wow.
And I'm the commander of the Macon County Honor Guard.
I saw those on your lapel there.
Mhm.
What does that mean?
We provide, we're military funeral providers. We average 150 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to come butlers quite often.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
They
We
Camp
go to
Butler.
Camp Butler. Because a lot of the, right now, there's a lot of people being buried in national cemeteries because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
God, the prices on them funerals anymore.
And you're an honor guard for just World War II veterans?
No, it's all veterans.
All veterans, okay.
Right now, some of the guys that I have, they're from the Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force, and Navy.
Mm-hmm.
We're all a combination of all. And we provide military rights for all veterans that are serving.
Mm-hmm.
We want to have to, I've been commander since 95
Mm-hmm.
and 17 years now. And we've only had to turn one down because he wasn't eligible. He got a dishonorable discharge, and we can't do that.
Oh.
They're not qualified.
What kind of activities do these organizations, what do you participate in there?
Oh, we go to high schools, churches, colleges, and parades, Memorial Days,
Mm-hmm.
and give them a spiel about the flag etiquette and all these kind of things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we participate in Memorial Day, like we do Memorial Day, and we do Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day and Veterans Day,
Mm-hmm.
and we do a lot of activities. And whenever they call us, and some of the schools will ask us if we want to come down and participate in their program by presenting the flag, presenting the colors. So what we do then, we bring in two guards and a flag, take them up, set them on the stage, that's posting colors. We do all kinds. So we're pretty busy most of the time.
It sounds like it.
My wife says, wouldn't you get married to that place?
Did your military experience influence your thinking about the war or the military in general?
Well, like they always said, war is hell, and it is. And in some of them, we shouldn't be involved, but who knows what they're thinking. Of course, what they're doing now is just to prevent them people from coming here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's pros and cons on it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there weren't be any wars, but you just can't help that.
Yeah. And do you ever attend any reunions?
We did until about 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
when everybody started dying off. So, and I do to conventions. I do like the excuse me, the China Marine Association. We have a convention in every different state, and sometimes I go to them. Depends on how far it is or
Mm-hmm.
how expensive.
That does play a big part in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where were some of the conventions held at?
The first one I went to was in St. Louis, and the other one was in New Orleans, and one in Tampa, Florida, and one in Ohio. But I don't go to very many. I'm too old to travel anymore.
Has your service and experiences affected your life much?
Not really. You get over it
Mhm.
for a while. It's just like for years and years and years, I could not eat Chinese food in these restaurants here because of what I saw.
Mhm.
But now I do. There's a big Chinese place in Decatur that I love to go.
Okay, is there anything else that you'd like to add? Any other experiences that you?
No, not really. Most of our experiences was overseas and come back and like after I came back, I was stationed in San Diego, California,
Mhm.
and like I said, we had open gate liberty, so we could go in town there anytime we wanted to.
Mhm.
If we weren't doing on duty, and then we travel quite a bit. Like I said, we went to Las Vegas, Tacoma, and Mexico a lot of times.
Mhm.
That's when Mexico was safe to travel in.
How long were you stationed over in China?
18 months.
18 months. You saw probably several holidays come and go over there.
Yes, we did. We had the first Thanksgiving, we had spam for Thanksgiving dinner
Cool.
because we didn't have anything.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget that. Thanksgiving we had spam, and I hated spam for a long time too because that's all we could get for me.
Mhm.
But after a while, it's hard, but you get by.
Mhm. Now, during the Christmas season, did you receive lots of gifts from home?
After they send it to us, and then like cookies and candy,
Mhm.
because they couldn't send anything else. But we got it, and would share with other people.
Mhm.
Some of the kids never got any mail at all, or any gifts or cookies or whatever. So we all shared.
Mhm.
In brotherhood.
It's kind of
We had a
sad.
saying in the Marine Corps that he who sheds blood with me shall forever be my brother. So that's one of what things it's brotherhood.
Mhm.
That pertains to all services. I mean, they are like that.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not talking about the bragging the Marine Corps, but Army, Navy, and they're all together, like brothers.
Mhm. Now, did you have like church services there?
Oh yes, yeah. We had everything you can think of, well, like Catholics, Baptists, Methodists, whatever.
Mhm. So they had a minister or priest there for
What they call chaplains.
chaplains.
Yeah, they were all chaplains. And a lot of times, I learned back then that everybody is equal and we all believe in God, but different ways.
Mhm.
And so that's why even now, some friends that I have are Baptists or Methodists or whatever. Why don't you come by and visit with us? I sure. I go. They know I'm Catholic. They don't pressure me because I had a couple of them tell me, why don't you get out of the Catholic and come with us? I said, no, I've been Catholic too many years.
What type of machinery were you in charge of over there? Did you drive tanks or?
And when I was, like I said, when I was in the Pacific, I carried a rifle, taking care of the machine gunners. But when we landed in China, I was in a motor pool driving a truck. Like I said, transporting Japanese prisoners of war that we had.
Mhm.
We take them out to the coast and ship them back home. And it's funny how a lot of we had 500 in our group, in our battalion, and they didn't want to go home because they lost face. The Japanese, they say, well, they lose face and all that. They don't want to go home, but we just scared to take them anyway.
How did you get over to China? Was it
On
by-
a ship.
on ship?
Mhm.
How long did it take you to reach that?
Well, from where we were at, it took 9 days, and then we couldn't go all the way into the coast because of the shallow river or the shallow water. But then they had those LSTs, they call LSTs, smaller ships,
Mhm.
and they took all our supplies and everybody, and that's how we get to the coast.
Hopefully you didn't experience seasickness or anything.
You know, it's funny, I never did, by plane or the sea, never got seasick. But I came home on leave on a train, and I got sick. I got sick on a train. It's great, weird, but it's, it's just happened.
It is weird. Now I know from my dad, there's colorful language in the military.
Very.
Do you
But every
still
other word's colorful.
do you still remember a lot of it?
Some
or-
of it, yes.
um,
I don't use it anymore out here
mhm,
because I have 3 daughters, and so I just
mhm.
and grandkids and great grandkids now,
Wow.
and I don't use that anymore. Well, when I'm with a bunch of the group like this, yeah, every once in a while we get out of line.
Mhm. Well, do you have anything else? Another story that you'd like to
No,
share?
that's about it.
Okay. Well, I've enjoyed talking with you, Rudy.
Well, I thought I hope I could answer all of your questions, but like I say, there's so many things that's going on that at my age, I tell some people, I say I even forget what I had for breakfast.
Now, did your wife serve in the military?
No,
Any of your children?
my older son was in Vietnam, but the others were too young, and then they got too old for these other wars. So,
Mhm.
and in a way, I'm glad, but they're patriotic, even though they didn't serve.
Right. Any of your grandchildren, or you said you have great grandchildren?
I got a grandson that just got out of the army.
Mhm.
He was in Korea. He's 23, I think.
Okay. Well, I've enjoyed visiting with you
Well,
today.
I enjoyed being here with you people, and I've been in Decatur since 1964, and this is the first time ever I've been in this library, and I come to Springfield a lot.
Well, I'll be happy to give you a tour of it if you'd like.
We probably won't have time
Hmm.
because some of the guys, we got another mission to attend after a while.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
me,
anytime, come back.
and I've got to go to Clinton is when I leave here, and they're going back to Decatur. So we're all busy all the time.
Sounds like
That's
it.
why my wife says, every once in a while she'll get mad. I just throw my hat in, see if it comes back out, I won't go in the house.
Oh, well, I've really enjoyed talking with you and hearing
Well,
your
me too.
experiences.
Me too.
Thank you so much for
Okay, well,
serving
I'm glad.
for our country and
Well, each one of us have to do what has to be done.
Mhm.
We may not like it, but we have to.
Well, that's true.